So yeah, we've got some people joining us right now. So we're going to start, and I'm going to pass it over to Rosie in a minute. I just want to give her a little bit of an introduction. So Rosie, it's very strange. I'm introducing you. She's right here. Rosie is a hypnobirthing teacher and a doula. So obviously your time starts, before they give birth, but obviously in that post-birth time as well. And having read her website, having talked to Rosie, you can tell how passionate she is about preparing moms for that journey and transition, in preparing women for that transition of becoming a mom and everything that goes with it. So I hope that's a nice introduction for you. So I'm going to pass it over to Rosie. Now, if you're watching this live and you have any questions, feel free to type it in, and we can answer it in a little bit.
Yeah. So
okay. There you go.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So
I got back from a birth at 4:30.
Oh yes, morning. I forgot to say that.
So I'm a bit tongue-tied, that's why. So the first thing I'd always say really is that you instinctively know how to look after your baby, but often people just don't trust that they do. So there's a number of key pointers that I just want to talk about. There's no right or wrong. And the way that you feel you want to look after your baby is going to be the correct way. But the first thing I want to talk about is breastfeeding. So a lot of antenatal classes do a breastfeeding evening on this, or a day on it. And that's fine, and it's good to understand it. But often it's difficult to really take on board the mechanics of breastfeeding unless you've actually got a baby to feed. So I think it's really good when you're pregnant to actually get some key contacts in your book so they're on hand if you need them. So, for example, your local lactation consultants, the free local breastfeeding drop-ins, any friend that's had a positive experience breastfeeding that can give you any tips. And also your specialist, the breastfeeding specialist at your local hospital. So have them on hand so that actually, if you get into a situation where it's a bit tricky, and it can be a bit trial and error for the first few days, then help is on hand. And it's easy to do that before than after. And if breastfeeding doesn't work out for you, then that's absolutely okay. The decision is always yours. You do what's right for you and your baby, and you don't have to justify yourself to anyone. So that's the first thing. The next thing I'd say is that the first week or two, just rest up and go easy. Don't go out. Just take it easy. Just relax. I normally tell people to go to bed for a baby moon for 24 hours with your baby skin to skin. And that's a brilliant way to get breastfeeding off to a really good start and get people to bring you meals in bed and just don't move. Now's not the time to people please. So, make sure you keep that front door shut. Don't let people in. Only let people come round if they're really going to be helpful. And be direct with the type of help you want. For example, come over and please bring me a meal. You'll find that actually people love helping out. It gives them a boost. So think of it that you're doing them a favour as well, because they'll leave your house feeling really good that they've done a good turn. And also, if you have people over that you don't really want to be there, if they're sitting on the sofa opposite you while you're trying to breastfeed and you're having to make conversation, you'll be uptight. You're not going to be relaxed. Your let-down reflex isn't going to work as well as it could do. And it takes 5 weeks to establish breastfeeding. So for those first few weeks, just take care of yourself and keep that front door closed. So the next thing, we're used to being in control of every aspect of our lives and reading up on everything and trying to fix problems. And this little person comes along that we can't control. And you're not going to be able to control this baby or put the baby in a routine. And so the only thing you can do is control the controllables, which is you. So you have to take care of yourself to be able to ride it. And that means accepting help. That means going upstairs and having a sleep and trying to sleep when the baby sleeps. Now, I know sometimes that's difficult, but you just have to allow time to yourself to be able to do that. The other thing I'd say is that whilst conditions like reflux and colic certainly do exist, but sometimes there just aren't answers to specific things. And babies do sometimes be sick after a feed, and they do have digestive grumbles after they've fed sometimes, and that's okay. As I say, you have to just look after yourself to be able to ride this. And sometimes the evenings, the cluster feeding, it can be exhausting, but you need to put these things in place to be able to get through it. And often I find that it's week 2 to 3 that people tend to hit a wall. And that, unfortunately, often coincides when partners go back to work. So make sure beforehand you work out who might be helpful as for your friends or family and who's got time, and talk to them about then supporting you after you've had a baby. And last thing, probably, I always say to people, if you've had a good day, go out, and if you've had a bad day, go out. Getting out of the house and going for a walk is a brilliant way to make you feel better, feel that you've got some kind of routine in your life, that you've achieved something that you've got out. Having a walk will give you the endorphins. It helps settle the baby, the moving of the pram or baby wearing in the sling, and get a dose of vitamin D. So I must be up to my 5 minutes now. I can keep going and say another thing and another thing, but that's probably it. And if anybody's got any questions, then do get in touch with me. So
I think, you know what I really like? I like the idea of shutting the door. And like for the first 2 days, just don't feel the sense that you need to invite people.
No, absolutely.
You know, like,
absolutely. And make that clear. It's that whole concept of not people pleasing. Yeah. And sometimes family do come over and you don't want to be running around making cups of tea. Yeah, exactly. So you need to get partners on board with that before as well. Yeah. I had my mom on hand just cooking. That's all she did was cook. Which is brilliant, but family can sometimes be a double-edged sword. Yeah, so you need to work that out. It was quite busy in our house.